Hey there guys, it's PC Guy here, and Computex happened this week. I put a few videos earlier about it. I covered the highlights, but not really everything. So let's give a quick sum up of the important things of Computex, followed by the other things that I have not mentioned yet, that are not as groundbreaking, but are still interesting and you still might want to know about them, because some of them are actually very interesting. Let's start with a quick roundup of the high point of Computex this year, the Ryzen 3000 series or Zen 2 architecture, that powers them basically, and that has quite a few products that are very interesting. For starters, the Ryzen series is basically a very strong competitor with Intel. It has a better price point and better performance at that price point than Intel. There are 5 different Ryzen chips announced so far: the 3600, 3600X, 3700X, 3800X, and 3900X. Now these cost anywhere between $199 and $499 for the highest end of processors, and they come head to head with Intel, with the 9700K, 9900K, with the 3800X already beating the 9900K while being $399, as opposed to the Intel's processor costing $580 MSRP. Now the 499 processor, the 3900X, actually goes head to head with the Intel processors that are costing upwards of $1,000 while costing only $499. So for a mainstream platform, this is definitely good news, and I am very excited to see what these processors will bring in actual performance in terms of gaming and other applications. They are the first ones to use PCIe Gen 4, which will help with some products I will show you guys later, and they have a 15% instruction per clock improvement, which is basically, well, raw performance per clock speed. They are also the first mainstream 7nm processors available. Obviously, to support these processors, there will be motherboards available. There are already about 60 plus motherboards that are designed for these chips. They are the X570 series for AMD. They are from all sorts of manufacturers and whatnot, and here at WCC Tech there are already a lot of them listed, usually higher end ones that draw more attention, like this, for example, ROG Corsair 8 formula with liquid cooling for the VRM, for example. And there are plenty of other options from other brands, naturally. And one thing that you will find that is common in all of these is that they all, at the chipset, have a fan for actively cooling the chipset. This is because the chipset gets a lot hotter in these boards. To prevent that, and you should keep in mind though that this is possibly a point of failure, that the fan might fail and might need replacing. Hopefully it is easy to replace, and hopefully it does not mean that when the fan fails you need an entire new motherboard. But that's something that other more fortunate and more successful tech channels that have samples that they will probably tear down will tell us how easy it is to replace or not. So keep your eyes on that. Also, while on the topic of waiting for reviews, remember, these look amazing, but I would definitely still wait for independent reviews before ordering anything, because both in tech and in gaming, pre-ordering is usually a bad idea. Now, I am confident that these products will be good, but as a matter of principle, I would still wait for reviews. Still on this topic of all this new technology, the PCIe 4th generation technology will also enable other things, like, for example, ultra-fast SSDs that go on the M2 slots that basically are connected to the processor itself through the PCIe lanes. Now, there are already some out there. As soon as these motherboards were announced, some companies already announced their SSDs that are fit for those platforms, including read-write speed of up to 5 Gbps. So that is a lot better than what we have now. That is orders of magnitude better than the fastest SSDs that are on the market right now. So as well on storage, that is also going to see an improvement when this technology is a bit more widespread, which is very good, because storage is often the bottleneck when it comes to some use cases, let's call them. So it's great to see the storage technology develop and get faster. So we'll see how expensive they are, because right now they're kind of high-end, but hopefully they'll be somewhat accessible. On the other hot topic that we were hoping to cover, Navi from AMD, they are calling the Navi architecture RDNA now, and it is not really released or announced yet. We will hear more about it around the 10th of June when AMD has its own event for that. Now, we have seen one benchmark of one card beating the 2070. We have no idea if it's the high-end card or not, so there's still some doubt about that, but we'll learn more about that in the future. There's also no pricing available. We do know that it will power the PS5, and we do know that it will have GDDR4 and the PCIe 4 technology available to it. They claim 25% performance per clock increase and 50% increase in performance per watt. Now, the rumor is that AMD is waiting for NVIDIA to launch their refreshed memory cards to actually announce the pricing, to kind of match it up and try to combat each other there, and that NVIDIA in turn is waiting for AMD to announce the Navi pricing to price their refreshed cards accordingly. This is all a bunch of rumors, and we don't know what the truth actually is, but one of them is going to have to give, and we'll see what the pricings are. Unlike with the CPUs, I will wait for the GPUs to actually be released and benchmarked to actually be excited about it, because the GPU department of AMD has a kind of a history of letting us down slightly. Still, finishing up on the CPUs from AMD, the release date will be 7th of July as was rumored, and we will also, hopefully by that time, hear more about Navi and what exactly it will entail and how good it will compare to NVIDIA's options. Now, Intel's answer to the Zen 2 architecture was to release 9900KS chip, which has a base clock of 4 GHz, boost clock of 5 GHz, which is nothing that you can't overclock to already. The question is how much further than that will it overclock. We'll have to wait and see, but it does not look awfully exciting, at least not even nearly as exciting as the Zen 2 news. Also keep in mind that Intel has to struggle with all the vulnerabilities like Spectre, Meltdown, Zombie Lane, all that sort of thing, and the fixes for that are going to cripple its performance. AMD does not have to deal with most of that, so AMD's performance is mostly untouched. So there's that to keep in mind as well when comparing the two. And it kind of is looking like AMD might be the place to go to for processors and motherboards for the next foreseeable future, at the very least the next 2 years. For the water cooling enthusiasts, Corsair has announced their Hydro X series, which is, let's basically see it, a fully customizable, apparently very high quality water cooling system that should in theory support most builds that you can possibly have in cases. And well, I have done a very quick estimation, and for a case I don't actually have a case, keep in mind, I have my PC desk, but in any case it would cost around 700 to 800-ish. This is a very ish because it depends on what you choose. 700 to 800 euros for a custom water cooling system. Have to admit, the parts do look amazing. This is the CPU block, as you can see. There's plenty of RGB to go around, along with the GPU block right here. This is the pump. So I will probably do a video dedicated to this in particular. They have everything. It's a full set. So it's just a one-stop shop. We'll have also, again, to wait for benchmarks and reviews to actually decide how good it is, but it is looking good, and it's nice to see a custom, let's say, one-stop shop for your water cooling needs like this. We'll actually have to wait and see a bit to see how worth it actually is. Cooler Master also was not idle in terms of their cooling solutions. There were some quite innovative things being shown, including, for example, AIO pumps that feature a dual pump system in case one fails or to improve flow, that sort of thing, as well as a so-called no-vac cooling solution, which is basically a whole PC immersed in a cooling liquid, non-conductive obviously. It's not a new idea, but it's the first time that a company is trying to bring that to the mainstream as opposed to the weird DIY kind of thing. And I will show you, but the only footage I could find was from Gamers Nexus video, so head over to Gamers Nexus if you want to see the whole video, and I will just show you a small clip of it here. apologies to Steve and to the staff of Gamers Nexus for kind of poaching their footage. Hope they don't verge me, but if anything, if you are not okay with me using this, let me know and I'll take it down. Just wanted to give the viewers, the few viewers I have, a few nice videos of that cooling solution, which honestly seems quite interesting, even if not entirely handy to have on your personal house PC, unless you're a very, very hardcore PC enthusiast. I don't see this I can only imagine that the weight of that is very massive to be held on a standard table or desk, or if you want to service the PC, it's probably going to be very difficult. Like I said, if you are a very, very passionate enthusiast, this might be something for you. I would love to try it one day, but I don't see it being my everyday system. They also showed a very funky water cooling reservoir. It actually has a little tornado in there. Yeah, I would love to have that, but it would have to be an horizontal cooler, and I'm pretty sure it won't fit on my desk. Obviously, there was a lot more to talk about. Computex is a massive event. There were tons of case models released. There was water-cooled RAM and VRAM released by Thermaltake, I believe. There was massive 300 plus gigabyte kits of RAM released by G.Skill, as well as 5.4 gigahertz RAM as well from G.Skill with I believe CL18 or 17 timing. So that's really quite massive for DDR3 at this point. So there was a lot of new stuff, a lot of innovation. Obviously, the highlight goes for AMD for this whole Computex event. It was the biggest bomb that we saw there. Other than that, like I said, a lot of cases unveiled, a lot of things shown. Sadly, I mean, predictably, this channel is too small, way, way, way too small to be able to attend such events, so I cannot give you full press coverage of that. But I do encourage you, if you're passionate about this, to check out the other, a bit more professional tech channels, because they do have a lot more footage that sadly I am not able to show you guys without being simply playing their stuff in review, and I do find that unfair for them to be using their content like that a bit. So this has been Attic PC Guy. Oh, before I forget, there is, once again, I almost forgot this because it's kind of standard these days, but Windows has once again issued update warnings that causes Wi-Fi loss in some devices if you update your Windows. So what else is new? Windows Update is having issues. Anyway, this has been Attic PC Guy. This has been the roundup of Computex. Hope you guys enjoy this content. I'll try to keep up with other events like this and give you guys kind of up-to-date, as detailed as possible coverage like I have been doing. If you want more in-depth review of, for example, the AMD processors and such, check my other video. I'll leave it at the end screen on the links, and yeah, like and subscribe and all that sort of stuff, and I will see you guys next week.